Welcome to episode 16 of the TV Autopsy, slicing its way through the series you love. My name is James.
My name is Deborah.
And I'm Megan.
Happy 2023, girls.
Happy birthday.
2023.
Wow. Where did 2022 go? Oh, the rest of the 20s for that matter. Are you okay, you two?
Frankly.
How's it going?
Well, there's been... when was the last time we met? I think the last time we met was...
I can tell you exactly when it was. It was about 3 days before. It was about a week before Christmas because we did the quiz.
Oh, well, it was that. But as TV Autopsy, was it before the Queen died?
Oh, gosh. No, I can tell you.
No,
I can tell you right away. Hold on.
Maybe
Because there's been a lot of changes since then.
All I've got to do is, here we are. Okay, so, right. So the last proper episode we did was the 23rd of September.
So it's after the Queen had died.
After the Queen, because we talked about the pomp and circumstance of.
We did. Well, I'm glad we're post Queen. That's good news. So yeah, we've been really busy, but we're hoping to kind of get a bit more regular to come now. It's 2023. So should we kick off? Has anybody got any news? Anything they've heard about? Want to share?
I'm not teed up on my news this month. I've just been watching a lot of telly over Christmas and everything.
And this is what we're kind of going to talk about. We're going to get into that in a minute. What overall, what did you think Christmas TV was? Is Christmas TV? I think nowadays now we've got all all the platforms and stuff. It's not like
it's not the same. And one of the joys of Christmas was being able to sit with your family and tune in for this special or that special. We don't have that anymore, and the kids are just more interested in looking at their iPads or watching a movie that you put on. That's about it.
Yeah. Did anybody watch the King's speech?
Yes.
No. You see, I didn't, and I was being a bit like I like everybody else was, and I just wasn't watching it. But I never watch it really. But Deborah, what did you think? How did he come across?
It was all right, and I got a little bit emotional. There was a couple of moments where I felt, oh, that's nice. But it was fine. It was straightforward. Done.
I never watched the Queen's speech, so I kind of felt like I didn't feel the urge to watch the King's speech.
It's a good jumping on point, maybe. New series, new leading character. So, I suppose keeping the theme of Christmas and our King Charles, I wonder. I suppose Harry may well be off the Christmas list for next year. He's been don't know
he's been featuring very heavily on the telly, hasn't he?
Okay, so has anybody watched
bits and pieces
of
that?
Anybody watched this? You've watched it?
Yes.
I watched the Netflix documentary, the 6-parter, and then I also watched the
interview.
The interview.
Right, so I started watching the Netflix, and I
saw 3 episodes.
I stopped after 10 minutes. I got to the point where he said,
knows the full truth. We know the full truth. The institution knows the full truth, and the media know the full truth because they've been in on it.
You just said nobody understands, but there's loads of people who understand. And I just thought, I just can't be bothered watching these people just make fools of themselves on TV. Sorry, have you two got a different view?
Yes.
Come on, let's hear it.
Yeah, I watched all 6 episodes of the Netflix, and I actually found the last couple of episodes really did come to a bit of like they'd been building and crescendoing to the point, but actually by the time I'd finished watching the 6 episodes and seeing how they'd been building the blocks to sort of like show how the royal family interacts with the media and unnamed royal sources and all that sort of stuff is the royal family feeding stories. And so I kind of, if I had to be anything, I'd say I was team Harry and Meghan over anybody else.
Right.
I know that he faces a lot of criticism because you shouldn't really do that because, you know, it's the royal family and all that, and it's just not done. And I'm kind of like, well, if anyone
calling
can
it
break
out.
a mold, I think I'm fair play to him. He's really putting it out there, putting himself out there. I feel so. Look, he comes from a very, very privileged upbringing, so you know it's none of it is normal, but genuinely was really quite shocked by some of the coverage in the documentary as to what they've had to put up with.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Deborah?
Yeah, I agree. I watched the first 3 episodes, and obviously I've been listening in on you know, various radio programs that have been talking about the bits and pieces that have come out in Spare, the book,
Right.
and all that, the news surrounding that, with the rightly or wrongly he has shared too much information about his, I don't know, frostbitten penis, how he lost his virginity, how many Taliban members he killed.
Now that is a very controversial thing to have brought up, isn't it? Because there's a lot of talk about there being retaliation now from the Taliban since this was raised. Do you think that?
Yeah,
Well,
I've also seen the fact that you actually have to read what he wrote in the book, which I haven't.
I've read that
because
too.
all of these snippets are just taking things completely out of context and
Yeah.
making much bigger things of them than they need to. So at some point, when I haven't been completely, like, I'm a bit over it right now, but at some point I think I will read or listen on Audible or something like that, because if nothing else, coming out of 6 episodes of his documentary, you cannot trust what you're fed by the media. So, you know, I think fair play to him. At some point I will read what he's got to say. I'm not that interested in where he got frostbite particularly, but I do think that I think that there is a relevancy, and you know, if we're going to be in a country that has a monarchy, we all ought to understand how that monarchy operates.
Yeah, I guess so. So I have a little wager for you. It's gentleman's wager. We don't have to bet any money, but I would like. Do you think he's going to be at the coronation? Which TV Morticians have been asked if we will do live commentary for, but I turned it down because we're all a bit busy.
I'm
Well,
going to say no. I'm going to say he won't be there.
No, Deborah?
Yeah, well, I think Charles, look, Buckingham Palace, I think, were waiting, weren't they, for all the interviews to take place before commenting on everything that's happened. But I think Charles said it last year, didn't he, that, you know, he and Meghan are welcome into the family, and, you know, he was kind of holding out a little olive branch to say, you know, they're very much loved and very much part of our family. So,
well, he could hardly say we hate you.
He didn't have to say it, though. That's the thing. That was one of his speeches. I think it was his inauguration.
I think they'd have jumped on it if he hadn't have mentioned it. I'm going to say he is going to attend.
Yeah, he might, but probably without Meghan.
Okay, so I'll go full on Harry and Meghan. Meghan, you could go full on neither of them,
full on
and you could go just Harry. That's exciting. One of us will win.
Are you making a note of that so that we can come back to this?
Well, it's on here, but yes, we should be able to
I know.
get all about it. All right, so who wants to kick us off? Who's watched something that they want to talk about?
Me.
Oh, go on then.
So, you guys have raved about this before, and I have watched episodes of the UK version of Ghosts.
Aha! That was one of my ones.
So I watched the whole of Ghosts,
yes.
But then I went and watched the US Ghosts.
Now, you talked a little bit about this last time. Because
she didn't. She messaged us. And
then, is that right?
And then we all jumped on it, and
because I've watched it all as well.
Yeah, because we watched about 3 episodes of it and went, I can't. Both of us, Laurie and I can't deal with it. I can't. It's moving far too quickly, and I no, and we dropped it.
Oh, I really, really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it recognizing where they're sort of like done the loose equate
Yeah,
Yeah,
approximation of the characters, and so they obviously couldn't have they didn't have the caveman, they had the Viking and
yeah.
all of that sort of stuff. But I absolutely loved it.
I
Did
did.
you?
I
What,
did
better
kind
than
of
Yeah,
the
fall in
better
love
than
with
the
it.
British version?
I'm really sorry, but yes.
No, you're wrong. You're just wrong.
The
Sorry.
thing is, what they've done to it, they've given it like the Friends effect, haven't they? So they've obviously got a team of writers.
Yeah.
There was 24 episodes, so there's a lot of areas to explore. And it is so once you get into it, it's so nice and easy to watch, and the characters are really likable. You
Yeah.
know, and in some ways I kind of agree. Now, when I started watching, I was thinking, oh no, this is too awful compared to the other one. But and I felt like the Viking really annoyed me, but he turned out to be pretty good, and I've fallen in love with it as well. It's quite funny.
I
I
love
would like, you know,
but I think there's a bit more, you get much more of the backstory of the ghosts themselves. There's some amazing like
well,
play between what they don't understand because they're dead versus how it plays out in
yeah.
today's, like all the Hamilton references I just
Oh,
thought were
that's
Oh,
good.
right,
hilarious.
yeah.
But also you've got like, so they develop like, there's a character called Nancy who's, it's not what do they call it? They've got a load of people who are dead downstairs in the basement, but it's I can't remember it was a different illness. Anyway,
It's not cholera,
yeah,
but anyway, yeah.
cholera pit. Anyway, Nancy starts dating one of the guys, the guy with the arrow through his neck, doesn't she? And she's in it for about 3 or 4 episodes. She's just so funny. She's just so funny. And there's lots of little cameos that are good and like little recurring people. So yeah, I did enjoy it, but I'm not sure it's been renewed for 3rd series. They have made a 2nd series, but it's not confirmed whether they've made a 3rd one. And the guy who's the main lead, the Asian actor, is a very good friend and was in a theatre troupe with Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh.
He rapped at the Oscars, and it's very good. It's well worth checking it out.
Oh,
So-
Oh,
well,
no,
anyway,
James, you got 3 pencils again.
Yeah, back again.
very important stuff about to be written down. But anyway, yes, that's my first recommendation, and I was evangelizing about it over Christmas to various other people, so I thought it needs to be top of my list of what I
Thank you
rave
very
about this
much.
Christmas.
And did you watch the Ghosts Christmas special?
Yes,
UK.
yes, I did. I liked it. It was good. It didn't blow me away, but it was nice.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It wasn't one of those ones that was laugh out loud, amazingly funny as it normally is, but it was quite emotional, and there was a bit of a tear to be shared with Pat.
I really miss, what's her name as well now she's gone?
Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went off.
Yeah, it's a shame. All right, Deborah, what about you? What have you got to offer up?
I have a few.
Well, just give us one, because we're doing one each, aren't we?
What? Going round and then round again?
Well, then we'll go round and then we'll go outside for a bit, and then of course we'll go round and round again.
Taking a turn. I've got more.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure everyone has more.
How about Traitors?
Oh, now I was going to ask you about this because
Traitors
I
UK
know,
and US.
right, so I don't know anything about this show.
Oh, well, first of all, the most important thing is Claudia and the way that she dresses. She is styled amazingly by...
You're a bit like Claudia Winkleman sometimes, Deborah.
That's brilliant. Thank you. I shall cut myself a
welcome.
cringe. I think she's amazing, and she is... She plays herself character-wise, but she's dressed...
All right, let's get off Claudia. What's the show about?
Dressed appropriately and accordingly in the style that the castle, befits her. So you've got about 22, 23 people who are complete strangers, allegedly, that meet on a station Hogwarts type platform, getting on a Hogwarts type steam train up to this castle in the Highlands of Scotland. And they're lined up by Claudia, and she says, the game started when you all got on the train. This So basically the premise is 3 of these 23 people are picked to be traitors, like a bit like Wig Murder in the Dark. Yeah, so
Right.
they all sit around the table, blindfolded, and
They're
people.
all the murderer.
3 are tapped
Picked
on the
as
shoulder,
traitors.
and
Right,
they
okay.
are the traitors. The rest
So
are called the
Claudia
faithfuls.
interviews them all to decide which ones she wants
Right,
her
okay.
traitors, and
Yeah.
then she picks 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the idea is that they need to work together as a team to do various tasks. Some are a bit like Bush Tucker trials, some are like escape room type tasks.
Yeah.
To build up a cash pot up to the value of 120,000, I think it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so on a daily basis, they have to do that to work together. But at the same time, what's going on in the background is the traitors are looking at the, you know, who's there, and they're trying to pick off faithfuls in a strategic way. In the meantime, the faithfuls are looking around and casting their suspicions and getting it wrong. And there are two things that happen during the day. You get them all sat around the table discussing who they think is a traitor.
Mm.
And then they banish somebody. They all vote, and someone is banished. And that person is banished will stand up and say, "You silly asses, I'm a faithful." Now, if they're left at the end with just the traitors, they will take all the money, all that cash that's been built up over the 12 days that they've been together. They will take all the money. If, however, they eliminate and banish all the traitors, then whoever's left at the end will take that
That's
money.
the money.
So
Right.
every night the traitors will murder somebody. So nobody gets any sleep because everyone's terrified that they're going to get murdered. And at
They get
breakfast,
murdered.
yeah, and at breakfast they all wait to see who's been picked off.
Oh.
It's on the edge of your seat stuff
It
because
is
everyone
Some of
is
the most amazing telly
amazing TV.
had for years.
Yeah, it started in Australia, and apparently the Australia version is available to watch. The US one is now on, and I think we're 7 episodes deep with the US version, which is in the same castle and is presented by Alan Cumming.
And the US, the Americans are technically traitors anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, but the difference with the US version is that you have a few well-known people in it. So there'll be the winner of Big Brother, the winner of Survivor, that somebody from The Bachelor, somebody from another of the Beverly Hills wives of whatever's.
Megan, did you say that me and Deborah would be really good on this show?
I'd love to be on it. In fact, I started applying for it, and then I realized actually if I applied for this, social media and the pressures of it, I don't think I could live with any criticism. I'm not going to do it. And I keep now getting an email from the traitor saying, please finish your application.
It was such good telly, and it'll be interesting to see whether a second UK series.
Oh, I'm sure everyone's kind of been talking about it. So
and how different it will be.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it's the first season of anything like that is people don't know what to expect, whereas the second season, I think it will change. It will have a different tone because people will know what's going on.
The gameplay will definitely be different. I think
it'll be less. It's like Big Brother season 2 after Nasty Nick, which all he really did was pass around a few notes. It certainly went into hyperdrive, didn't it? And everyone started to be really horrible. All right, so I've got one, and I'm bringing up something that I didn't particularly like, and I don't know if this will be controversial or not, but I am talking about The Handmaid's Tale season 5, or as I like to call it, Handmaid's Tale Jumping the Shark.
I've not seen it.
Not watched it.
No.
So does everyone know what I mean? Does everyone know what I mean when I say jumping the shark?
No.
All right, so it's a phrase that you use about TV shows that have become ridiculous and gone too far. And it's named after a Happy Days episode where the Fonz jumped a shark over, he was like doing water skiing and he had to jump over something and then he ended up jumping over a shark. And everyone went, you've gone too far now. So, look, can I give you a spoiler?
As long as it's not the season finale spoiler.
No. All right, so let me give you a spoiler because it kind of makes sense. Now, you know the whole problem with Handmaid's Tale is once you're out of wherever, Gideon. There is no story. The only story is when you're in there. I mean, nothing happens in Canada. We know this. So
But
how do
aren't
you?
they trying to, you know, bring people to justice and all
But
that?
how do you get the characters to do stuff? How do you get them to interact? And it got ridiculous in this series because they contrived a way to get the names are really bad. The main woman, June, there we go. And the main evil woman.
It's been ages, Carrie.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, alone in a barn while she has a baby. You know, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, don't be so stupid. It's like, so it's basically June delivers like her arch nemesis's baby, you know, and you just think, oh, you know, and they were, you know, they had to get them together in the same place, and then they had to get them going somewhere where there was nobody there.
But I think, do you know what? I think the reason I haven't actually watched season 5 is that the end of season 4 really annoyed me.
What happened then?
Well, I think they were jumping the shark at that point, to be fair. That was when they all set on Fred.
Yeah, and that was very nasty, and yeah, they dwell on that for a bit. Yeah, so yeah, there we go. So that's
the thing is, Megan, we're going to have to watch it. We have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Is this the last one though? Can it be the last one?
Well, I don't know.
You ask the producers if it's the last.
You know, they haven't been in touch.
The thing is
Bastards.
that you know that the Testaments tells the story 16 years later of after season 1. So you've got quite a lot of scope and leeway.
I don't think they're going to get that. I don't think they're going to get there. And I mean, it seems already so watered down. It's like you can only escape and get captured so many times.
No, but I think the goal is to have her kids reunited with them, right? That's
you better hurry up because she's about 17.
Wow. Has anyone read the Testaments?
No. What happens?
We watch TV.
I feel not that I oughtn't to give that away, but you find out what happens to the kids in that. So.
Well, I wouldn't rely too much on that because look what happened with Game of Thrones. That guy never got round to writing it, so they ended up having to write it themselves. So, you know.
No, but Margaret Atwood has written it, so we know what happened.
All right then. Okay, so Megan, what else have you got for us?
So next on my list is bear with me. The new the series remake of A League of Their Own.
Right, I don't know what that is.
It's Amazon Prime. There was a film in the 90s.
Is that like a question of sport?
It's about
Tom
the
Hanks,
female baseball
Madonna.
team. Yeah, there was a female during World War II when all the men were drafted. In the States they set up an all-female baseball league, and the film was a massive success back in the 90s, I think.
Yes.
All very to a certain extent
That was a Madonna aficionado.
Stories. And the series is a much deeper, broader exploration of that.
Cool.
And it's awesome.
Is it?
Really, really
What's
enjoyable. It on? Prime.
A League of Their Own.
Really recommend it. It also it explores the experience of, takes one in particular to start with, a black woman who's really into her baseball but is turned away from the auditions for the women's, well, I mean, inverted commas,
tryouts, I think they're called.
Well, auditions. And it follows her story as well. It explores a lot about the lesbian community of the day, and it's just really
any big names? Any names, or they're all unknown?
there's a few faces that you'd recognise, but
Yeah.
not in the they're not big names that I would
Not yet.
call out as such.
Oh, I really want Yellow Jackets to come back.
Well, it is. It's been made. I was looking up this because I thought it was coming back last autumn, but it has been delayed slightly. But it should be with us by the early summer.
Really?
Yeah. I'll see if I can get you a date while you're telling us about your second choice, Deborah.
Oh, well, second choice would be His Dark Materials. Their final season played out. Anyone seen any of His Dark Materials?
Yeah, I watched the first two.
season.
I got a bit bored.
Oh, and have you read the books?
Yes.
Oh yes, more than one.
So obviously the film, The Golden Compass, came out, and Warner Brothers then had to do a complete U-turn and decide, oh, it's way too controversial politically and religiously.
Yeah.
The Vatican would have had an issue with it because
I find that I don't get that. I mean, I'm not very religious, but why is it so controversial?
I don't know. Warner Brothers.
So actually, I recommended the books to my mum, who is very religious, and they really troubled her.
Yeah.
She had a real problem.
Really?
Yeah. But it's, look, it's beautifully shot. It is a bit Doctor Who-y in places.
Nothing wrong with that. What's that supposed to mean?
That kind of sort of set and things, but it's beautifully shot, beautifully acted, and it's, if you know what happens in the third book and towards the end, it's very depressing ending. So it's
isn't there a fourth book now?
No,
they've
got prequels.
There's a prequel.
You've got
there's another trilogy. One is the prequel, and then the second book in that trilogy follows on after His Dark Materials. So the La Belle Sauvage is pre.
It's not after.
No, La Belle Sauvage is pre.
Yes,
but
pre.
the second book after La Belle Sauvage is the Commonwealth, and that is after the His Dark Materials. Lyra is a lot older in that. She's an adult. And then there's a third one in that trilogy that we're all avidly awaiting.
Well, there's a Book of Dust and La Belle Sauvage. So I've got two prequels.
Oh well.
When Lyra's
but there is a follow-up, and it's called the Commonwealth or something.
So the Commonwealth, yeah, that rings a bell. So that's the fourth.
Okay, well, look. Well, I'm sure he's got lots of books coming out. I can tell you that Yellow Jackets is going to be out series 2 on March the 24th, so not too long to wait now.
March 24th, that's a minute.
That's America, so it might be a little later. All right, so my next choice is, it was just a special really, but I really enjoyed the original series, and it's The Detectorists. Anybody seen that?
I think you've mentioned it before.
I know it. I know
it's such a lovely program. It's about
Toby and
set in the country. Toby Jones and Wurzel Gummidge, and they're metal detectorists, and it's just like a special, but about an hour and a half, 90-minute special, where they uncover something.
Mackenzie Crook.
That's him. We used to live with Ian Lee for a bit, and they uncover something that they could be quite amazing and stuff like that, but it's just beautifully done, and they're such good actors. I mean, watching Toby Jones singing along on the radio to It's Raining Men as his character is just brilliant.
I've heard so much about it, and I see clips of it, and it does look very endearing.
It's really it's funny, it's nice, it's just nice, it's good. So yeah, well worth a watch.
Aww.
Right, has anyone got anything else? Because we are going to be talking about our main feature, which is Severance.
I had 3 recommendations for viewing.
So you've got
very quickly.
Has everyone got one more? Is that what we're talking? No,
I've done all my 3.
You've done your 3. Go on, Megan. What have you got?
Oh, have you done your 3?
Yeah,
I did.
Oh,
go on. Well, go on, Megan. What have you got?
Slow Horses.
Ooh,
It's
what's
Apple
this?
TV. It's cracking. It's a UK
Ooh, cracking.
made for commissioned by Apple, and it's basically MI5, MI6, MI5, I think. And they're basically, it's just a bunch of really almost put out to pasture MI5 officers, all of whom have done something bad in their careers, which has landed them in Slough House, and they're called slow horses, which is basically
Yeah.
they're just kept on basically to be scapegoats for something when something cocks up. And there's an absolute royal cock up of an operation, and it's how they respond to it, and it's just really funny, well written, brilliantly acted, just it's absolutely excellent, really thoroughly
Right.
thoroughly
Is it a bit
thoroughly
like
enjoyed it.
like New Tricks, where you've got a bunch of
No, because they're not
ex-coppers?
all ex-old coppers. Some of them are quite new. They've all just done something absolutely career limiting within MI5.
Is it a
They've
bit
not
like
managed to come up.
waiting? Is it a bit like Waiting for God, where they're all in like a retirement home and go up to
Absolutely
madcap
not.
adventures every week? Is it like Last of the Summer Wine? All right. Okay. So right, let's get on to our main feature, which is Severance. So before we dive in with the clip, I'll now, Deborah, you haven't had time to watch this, have you?
Sorry.
So shall I go through a few? I'll give you a few facts. All right. So it was created by Dan Erickson, directed by Ben Stiller and Ueth McCardle, starring Adam Scott, Zach Cherry, Britt Lower, Tamil Tillman, Jen Tulloch, Dickon Lochman. Made in the US, 9 episodes in series 1. There is series 2 coming as well. And it's on Apple TV. So before we get on with it, let's have a clip.
Every time you find yourself here, it's because you chose to come back. Hello, my name is Mark S. And I have, of my own free accord, elected to undergo the procedure known as severance. I give consent to sever my memories between my work life and my personal life. I acknowledge that once the procedure is complete, I will be unable to access my personal memories whilst on the severed floor.
Say gratitude.
Nor will I retain work memories.
Hey.
Sorry, when I return home at the end of the day.
Hey, so this is your choice, Megan. Why did you bring this to the table?
I think this is some of the most original, or one of the most original bits of telly that I've had to wrap my head around for a very long time.
So what's it about? Give us a synopsis.
So from a little synopsis perspective, it's set in kind of like a relatively close future, near future, in a position where there's a company that has identified a way to separate your consciousness, so you can have your work self severed from your home self.
Oh, I need that.
And so the premise being that when you're at work, you're 100% at work and you're not distracted by all the stuff that's going on in your personal life, and when you're out of work, you're able to enjoy your personal life because all the stuff that's going on in work isn't interfering in how your personal life is going. So it's a very controversial procedure within the show, and when you undertake it, you become severed, and it's talked about your innies and your outies, so your in work personality and your out of work personality. And so the main character is somebody who has been through the process, but his family, his sister and brother-in-law and everything haven't. It's still quite a new and unusual experience, and you get to experience him in and out of work and how that differs. And so, you know, it's possible for you to be working alongside somebody day in, day out, and to meet them in real life, but have no memory or recollection or have any comprehension that you know them.
Okay. All right.
And
So
that's the premise.
Wow. And how many episodes? 9. you
right. So
say?
9
9.
episodes. All right. So I really like this, and I did really like it. It's got the mystery of Lost in lots of ways. Although sometimes it thinks that, I mean, I did think for a lot of it, why would anybody do this? But Deborah, you've jumped up and said you did it straight away. But then it's enough to, I thought it was a bit slow the first few episodes, to be honest, but he really did pick up a pace. And as we learn more about the founder and the weird kind of stuff that he gets up to, and by God, what happens at the waffle party, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it all, and then they all are trying to get out because all these innies want to see what's out on the outside, because all the experiences, as the lift shuts, it opens and it's the next day. They never don't experience anything else.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get your head around that a little bit. But I thought the female lead was really, really good. She was so watchable.
Ellie.
Yeah, and really likable. And by the end of that first series, there's quite a few revelations in the final episode, which kind of would keep you hooked for the next season.
Yeah.
And the style and imagery of it is really nice. It's very kind of
it's dark, isn't it? And it's quite it's very atmospheric, the way that and creepy. It's really creepy.
Really creepy. Because everyone's so happy, and if you're not happy, something terrible happens. And
so
Christopher
creepy.
Walken's in it. He plays
Christopher Walken's in it.
Yeah, and he plays
Patricia
such a nice
Arquette
character.
is excellent in it.
Yeah,
Creepy
Patricia Arquette, and it's so weird.
Creepy as.
Patricia Arquette, I remember her being 15 in Nightmare on Elm Street, part 3, basically, and we've been like, and it's like, oh my God, you're nearly retirement age. What's going on? But the music, they do a lot of things well in this. The music, and I want to just talk also about the titles of the music to start with. The music's brilliant, so it's a really good theme tune. It fits. It's creepy. It's eerie. But the titles, you see the main character kind of jumping through, getting sucked into a TV monitor or a cup of coffee and on the run. And it's like old-fashioned titles, but good, well made. So I watched the title. I watched the titles every time, and I didn't skip them once. But can we just talk a little bit about the main character? What's his name? The actor. Because this sounds horrible. Adam Scott. This sounds horrible. So Adam Scott was like a kind of poor man's Tom Cruise, wasn't he, about 20 years ago? He was in a few things, a few films. But he's aged quite weirdly. And I have to be really honest, this sounds horrible, but I find him very hard to look at. Does anyone get that?
Brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
What do you mean? He makes your skin crawl, or is it just the actor himself?
It's like looking at something without 3D glasses on.
But do you not think that's intentional?
Oh, maybe.
Because I'm just having a look at his headshot, and he doesn't look like that.
What's his
I
name?
think it's
Adam
intentional.
Scott.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's intentional because.
Hold on, but is his headshot photoshopped?
Well, no, just on IMDb.
Okay.
Adam Scott.
Yeah.
As in the guy that was in my Big Little Lies.
Yes.
The husband of Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
So he's the guy that's in Severance.
Yeah.
Oh. So why is it so hard to look at him?
So I think it's intentional. I think it's absolutely intentional. I think it's all a sign that, like, he's not a whole person, because he's been severed. So regardless of he's just out of place in whatever situation he's in. So when he's he's just awkward, and you find out quite early on that he severed as a result. He lost his wife,
right? Yeah.
And he, rather than actually processing that, he decided to undergo the severance process. And so in his personal life, his sister's there concerned about him because he hasn't gone through the proper grieving process, and then he's in work, and he's not a complete self. Like, none of them are their complete beings, are they? So I kind of think that he's that, yeah, they're kind of,
It's yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at pictures of him, and you're right, he does not look like that.
It's hard to get the impact of it. So I'm going to tell. So there's a bit. There's another character who's just like your normal office guy, doesn't really want to be there, even though that's all he is when he's severed. And they managed to, for a brief moment, see their other life. They turn off the machine, basically.
yeah.
And this guy sees his son, and it blows his mind, because that's all he's got of the outside world. There aren't even any windows or anything, and so I think it's laid the ground to get really, really interesting.
Yeah. So very I think it's the first episode, somebody approaches Adam Scott's character, Mark, in real life, and basically tells him that he knows him from work, and that is the catalyst that starts the whole team looking for more within the work team, looking for more and not wanting to be there, or wanting to find the reasons. And then, because they get a new person join the team, and she definitely doesn't, she loses her shit over it, and
yeah, she really doesn't want to be there.
Everything to get back out again, and it's so clever. I just think it's really intelligent. It doesn't, like, it makes
it doesn't patronize you at all.
There's no patronizing. You really do have to work at it a little bit to sort of like keep on top of what the hell is happening. I did have to rewatch some bits to go, whoa, did I just miss something? But it's just got all the creepiness, and then a cracking season finale that has you going, oh my god.
And I've heard quite a bit of a buzz about this, and I think it's going to be one of those things that gets really big. I mean, the thing as well is Apple, because it's on Apple TV, and Apple TV now are now on other platforms, so you can and you can go on your smart TV and find Apple TV. You couldn't do any of that until quite recently. So it means that their TV
that's
shows.
How I watch it. I get the app on my smart TV.
So, but I think that it's going to be much more accessible, like Disney Plus now. So it means that a lot more people will watch it. And I think Series 2 is I mean, the style of it is great. The way the design of the office, and they're just trying to kind of get around the office and find out what's going on, and it's
really
very likable.
Random bizarreness.
Yeah.
You're going, what is happening in Christopher Walken's office going on? What is going on in there?
Oh, that's heartbreaking. And what are they doing in that bloody office? But also, I don't know the name of the black actor, but he plays like their supervisor, and it's a mixture between kind of really cheesy, happy-go-lucky guy and sinister. Because if you do as you're told, you get like a karaoke party or
are they all severed in his office?
Everyone in the office is severed, but not the boss. Patricia Arquette isn't severed, but so the people in charge aren't severed. But yeah, it's look, I really, really like it. I think it's a grower, and I think next series there's a bit. We can't give it away, but there's lots of revelations on the last episode where you thought, oh gosh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
I do recommend you go and do still give it a punt, Deborah.
Yes.
It's so good. It really is very, very excellent.
It took me 2 or 3 episodes to really kind of get into it, but
okay, well, bear that in mind, and I'll just keep at it until cool. I'm interested in whatever you were talking about, the waffle party or whatever that was.
Well, fucking excuse my language. Yeah, I mean, because they talk about this waffle party, you see them having karaoke parties or drinks parties or what is it, like a muffin or some, all these daft
They are obsessed with the waffle
treats.
party. Basically, if they hit their quotas, they get an office reward. But because they only exist within the office, the reward can only happen within the office environment. And so they live, in inverted commas, that's their goal. That's how they get rewarded, is with waffles in the office.
Yeah, so there we go. All right, so but the waffle party is not what it seems. I can't tell you that for nothing.
Well, this is true.
Right, so before we so let's do that old trope. So come on. So let's see if it's not the tropes of our TV shows. So does it have a pregnancy in it?
Yes.
Ooh. Oh
Mark's sister.
yeah, you're right. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm remembering bits and pieces as we go along. Does it have murder?
Yeah.
Does it have self-sacrifice? Kind of.
Sort of, yeah.
Adam does a little bit. Losing everything, then getting it back. Well, they're on their way.
Well,
Who knows?
there's definitely got the losing everything sort of, I think.
Yeah. Love triangle. Don't think so. Flashbacks. Not yet.
No.
Or just a dream. No. A secret that could tear everything apart. Don't think so. An unlikely or forced friendship.
Definitely unlikely friendships in the office.
Do it a machina. Hasn't got a reset. I think you suggested another one, and I can't remember what it was. So I have to apologise. I lost all my scripts, so I have to write them all out again. Right. Right, shall we just do the big five before we score it? So, performance of the series.
Helly.
Yeah, Helly. Set piece, the waffle party.
Oh, I think her trying to kill herself.
Yeah, that was very good. Design effect. Well, I put the computers and how they work, which I don't have a clue. But
yeah.
Stupid factor. I'm sorry. Design effect. I was a little bit through it.
Say that again. Sorry.
So design effect. What did you want to say?
No, I didn't have anything specifically to. I just the whole feel of it is quite just the
it looks
creepiness of it. I think they that is consistent throughout.
The stupid factor. Well, I've put here, why would anybody want to go through with this? Deborah?
Let me put me through it.
Oh.
Well, you'll probably be thinking something differently by the time you've watched it.
Yeah.
But I do, from the two characters that we know have gone through it and why they've gone through it, I kind of get it.
Yeah, possibly, but I don't know.
Like
I
he went through it just in the hope that during his working hours he didn't have to think about his wife. And then the other character, I won't say anymore because Deborah hasn't watched it, but you could kind of see why that happened as well. So I'm kind of like, I mean, I wouldn't personally, but you can see that it's also still very early days within their world of doing it. So there's not that many people who have. There's always some people who are up for doing stupid stuff.
All right. So finally, resuscitation factor. Well, I said, it's coming back for series 2, and I think it's going to be a
totally.
Good one. I think. All right. So let's score it quickly. So characterization of performances, I've given it a 7.
Oh, I gave it an 8.
Style, I've given it an 8.
I did as well. Yeah.
Storyline and plot, a 7.
Oh, 9.
Originality, an 8.
9.
And absorption fraction, a 7, which gives me a score of 73. What do you get?
9.
Wow, that score's high.
Does score high. I thought it was brilliant.
What did you give it, Megan?
Hold on, bear with me. My little auto sum hasn't added it up. It's 86.
Oh. So it gives it
very high.
TV autopsy of 79.5. So on our overall leaderboard, it's top of 2023, but it puts it just below Kevin Could Go Fuck Himself and above My Brilliant Friend. All right.
Ooh.
So whose turn is it to pick?
Yours, James.
All right, so I'm going to do something a little different because what I don't want us to do is, so I am going to give you 3 choices. All right, so you have got until my countdown clock runs out. You have got 30 seconds to decide between the two of you what you're going to watch. All right. Okay, and the 3 choices are.
Why are you giving us 3 choices?
So you could choose one.
Okay, but why?
Because I want you to choose something that you want to watch.
Okay.
All right. So
And have you watched all these 3 things?
Well, there are obviously 3 choices. The choices I make are all the ones that I'm happy with choosing. Yeah.
No, but you've seen them, is what I'm saying.
Yes, I have.
Oh, you've seen all 3. Okay.
Okay, so your choices are The Crown, Lock and Key, Andor, and your time starts.
What's the last one?
What was the last one?
And Andor, Star Wars Andor.
Oh.
For one of the others.
Well,
Time
Lock and
started.
Key is on its 2nd season. So are you asking for first season?
Have you watched first season?
I've watched them all, yeah.
Yeah, I have.
I've watched first season. We could review second season.
Only what this 2nd season is the last season or whatever. There's only 3
Yeah.
seasons.
2 seasons or 3?
Right, you've got 10 seconds left.
2 seasons.
Okay. What's the other one? Andor, which is meant
Star Wars.
to be very good, Laurie
Oh,
says.
Yes, very good indeed.
Well, I don't really watch the Star Wars stuff, so I'm very happy to give it a punt.
Can I say you
I'll
don't
watch
need
it.
to you don't need to have watched any other Star Wars to really enjoy this.
I'll watch it because Laurie was really going on about it. So if it's something that then I don't have to watch on my own, it means.
And you know
that-
what? It's 9 episodes. I really think you'll like it. So it's Andor. We are going to go all
What is it on
sci-fi.
Disney?
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yes. All
There
right.
we go.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Well, so see you all in February, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's nice to see you again. I'm excited, and I do think you'll like Andor. And again, like I say, you don't need any prior Star
It's
Wars
not a
knowledge.
cartoon, is it?
Oh yeah, why? No.